Hey everyone, Payouts. I'm here once again with another episode of MOOF. I'm getting to the point in the series where scheduling's coming into play and I don't have as many teams to pull from, but we are looking to complete this series. However, I can't keep getting them out at noon every single day, but as soon as I get them done, I will get them out. Stay tuned to the channel, subscribe, like, comment. I appreciate you so much for watching. And yeah, let's get into today's video. Here we go. Hello and welcome once again to MOOF. We are really excited. This is a highly requested episode where we are looking for the most overly optimistic fan in the NFL. We are talking about the New York Jets today, and I'm joined by none other than the legendary, fantastic YouTuber, John from NYJ today. John, thank you so much for coming to the show.
Hey, time. Thank you for having me, dude. It was awesome when when you got in touch with me. I was excited, happy to do this. Looking forward to talking about the Jets.
Awesome. Well, really appreciate you coming on. And so please let our viewers know, what are New York Jets fans optimistic about heading into the season? It's been a rough couple of years for you guys, but Adam Gase is gone. The bad man is gone. Sam Darnold's gone. Let our viewers know, why should Jets fans be optimistic?
You hit on a couple of things. So the Adam Gase thing has to be where we begin because it was one of those situations when they hired him, I should say, when they hired Adam Gase to be the head coach of the New York Jets, it was widely disliked amongst the fan base. Now, of course, not everybody disliked the hire. There were people, in the media that, suggested that it was a good hire and that he was a QB guru and that he would be able to get the most out of Sam Darnold. But he had a losing record when he was with the Miami Dolphins as the head coach. And the belief is that when he left the Denver Broncos, he was basically essentially just, was riding the coattails of Peyton Manning like that. They always say like, oh, Adam Gase was the offensive coordinator of the best offense in the NFL's history with Peyton Manning, throwing over 50, I think it was like 55 touchdowns that season. But really and truly, that was just Peyton Manning's offense. Like, if we're really being honest with ourselves, Peyton Manning was running the show. So getting rid of Adam Gase, it doesn't just help the offense and help our quarterback develop appropriately. It also eliminates a person who was not a leader of men. And if you understand anything about Adam Gase, that he was a bit divisive with the players on the team. He did not collaborate well with, some of the stars on the team. He was often prone to shipping those guys out or not, including them in the game plan. And it would just tick these guys off. They didn't want to be a part of the Jets because Gase, he wasn't for the stars. He wasn't about, making them be the best version of themselves. Le'Veon Bell comes to mind. I'm not a huge supporter of Le'Veon Bell. I think he's shown that he may not be ever the same player that he once was, but he was misused. There's no doubt about it. Like, he has a fair, thing to say. Like, it's fair to say that he was misused under the Jets with Gase. So anyway, Gase is gone. So there's one layer of that.
Yep.
Optimism. So then to flip the coin, we're talking about a guy who is the antithesis of leadership, of being a leader of men. We now bring in Robert Saleh from the San Francisco 49ers and just wipe out every credential that you know about the man and just pretend that it's a vacuum right now. And we don't know, there's nothing that he's done in his career. If you just listen to him talk, and if you just see how he interacts with the players on the team, he is by far one of the best leaders that the Jets have had at the head coach position in a very long time. And I think that a lot of Jets fans will point to Rex Ryan and they'll say he was our best head coach. Like, that was the last time we had a really good head coach. I think that Robert Saleh, as the leader, as the CEO of the team, because he's not going to be calling defensive plays on the team. He's not going to be the defensive the play caller for the defense. He is the legitimate head coach, and he's an overseer of the entire football team. And so when you talk about Robert Saleh, I feel like you're talking about a guy who's going to be able to coach this young team. It's the third youngest team in the entire National Football League. And so getting somebody that has done that with Jacksonville, he coached a young defense there. He also coached the 49ers. And when he arrived, they were not very good on defense. They struggled a little bit, and the system took time to get going. But, he's got the same situation here with the Jets. They're extremely young. Mm-hmm. The secondary has all of the cornerbacks on the team are 25 years of age or younger.
Wow.
And so, yeah.
That's it. It's
so
a young team.
Yeah, extremely young team. And that's just one aspect of the defense. But having all of that being said, he is the perfect leader for the football team. Whether he ends up being a great head coach, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say he's dynamite and he's going to be the best thing for the Jets that they've ever had. I don't know. But as far in terms of leadership goes, I don't think there's any doubt that he can be a top 5 motivator and a leader for a football team. So that's definitely one of the big ones.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited. The Jets fandom is ready to, go to new heights. We're going to break down the schedule, but before we do, I don't want to forget, John, where can people find you?
Okay. So as you mentioned, I am at NYJ Today. That's the name of the channel, NYJ Today. And I'm on Twitter at NYJ Today. And I am also on Instagram as well, NYJ_today. Okay. So if you guys want to follow me, I'm pretty active on Twitter. Instagram, I'm still building a following there, but Twitter, I'm pretty active on that. And I do share all of my videos, the uploads that I do, the streams. So if you were looking, to check us out for one of our live streams, that would be one of the best ways to get that information.
Awesome. And of course, subscribe to your YouTube channel. The link for his channel will be in the description below. Yep. And with that being said, are you ready to break down the schedule?
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right. So we're going to start off the season here. Week 1, right off the get-go, Sam Darnold's revenge game. And you are traveling to Carolina to take on the Panthers. Win or lose?
I have a win there. And there's a couple of reasons why. The big one is I think that at the line of scrimmage, the Jets are the better football team. Mm-hmm. So defensive line, Quinnen Williams, Carl Lawson, we just signed in free agency. He's one of the best edge rushers in the NFL. The sack numbers do not show the whole story. You have to look at the analytics. PFF does a really great job of that. So Carl Lawson and Quinnen Williams paired up. There's going to be interior pressure. There's going to be exterior pressure as well. I think that they will be able to get after Sam Darnold. Now, whether or not they can force him into making bad decisions, I don't know. But I give our defensive line the edge versus their offensive line. And then, again, the real battle, I think, is going to be our offensive line versus their defensive line. They have some really good players on the defensive line. They drafted a kid. His name is eluding me at the moment, but they just drafted somebody in the top 10 in this past year, or excuse me, in this year's past year's draft. And then they also have Brian Burns on the edge as well. So he's going to be tough to block up. If we protect Zach Wilson and if we open up running lanes, again, I think that's the thing to watch in that game. And I think that we will with Mekhi Becton, Elijah Vera-Tucker, who we just drafted 14th overall. I feel like that's where the game's going to be won. Okay. Not necessarily between the quarterbacks. I know that's going to be the hot topic, but I think the line of scrimmage is what you'll watch.
All right, we love on MOOF when teams start off 1-0. That's great. Okay, so you're 1-0. People are freaking out. They're like, the new Jets are here. Media's blowing up, and then you have your home opener where you take on division rival the New England Patriots. Win or lose?
So I'll be at that game in person. And it sucks to say, it stinks, but I believe we will lose that game. I think that we mentioned it earlier, they're a very, very young football team. We are going against one of the great head coaches in NFL history. As much as I hate his guts,
Yep.
he's just really, really good at coaching football. And, if you look at his record versus rookie quarterbacks, he does outstanding versus rookie quarterbacks. He just knows how to confuse them. And so I don't see us winning that one.
Okay.
So unfortunately.
But you're 1-1, and
Yep.
then you travel to Denver, Mile High Stadium, to take on the Broncos. Win or lose?
I believe it or not, this sounds ridiculous. I'll actually be at that game as well. I'm traveling to Denver. Yes, I know.
That is awesome. You were in 2
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, my buddy and I, we've always wanted to go to Colorado and to Denver specifically. And we knew they were going to be playing there. And we finally were just like, you know what, let's just go. So we will be at that game. That's going to be an interesting game. I don't know what to expect from the Broncos with their quarterback spot. Is Drew Lock going to be the guy, early in the season? Is it going to be Teddy Bridgewater early in the season? There's some question marks there for them. They do have some talent on that team. I think that's going to be a really close one and a coin flip. I'm giving the Jets the win. Now, you said the most optimistic Jets fan, so boom, win.
That is what we want to see. That is what we want to see. Okay. All right. So Jets are 2-1, above 500. They've matched their win total from last year, and this is going to be my only comment about this. The Jets did beat the Rams last year, and that is what launched my YouTube career. So thank you for that. But that's the only thing I give, because that loss still hurts to this day.
So anyway. I was going to say, you created the channel because you were really ticked off. You had to have been, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you go back and you see my first ever football video on my channel, it's me reacting to the Jets beating the Rams, and I am just so devastated. I went and shoveled snow for therapy, and yeah, it was a pretty dark day for the Rams.
That's pretty awesome. That's a good story, though.
Yeah. So I have the Jets to thank. Thanks. Anyway.
Yeah.
Even though I put that loss was mainly on Goff. Anyway.
Oh yeah. So bad performance.
Thanks, Jared Goff. But anyway.
Yeah.
Moving on. So Jets are 2-1, back to the season, and they head to Nashville, Tennessee, to take on the Titans with Julio Jones now.
Yeah.
Win or lose?
I would, even prior to the trade for Julio, I had us down for a loss in that one. Okay. They are a experienced team. They've been to the playoffs the last couple of years. Tannehill is a very underrated quarterback. I think he's top 10, top 15 quarterback easy in this league. He's super efficient, good on the deep ball. And then obviously they have a monster in Derrick Henry. I don't give us a good shot to win that football game.
Okay. All right. But you're 2-2. You're still at 500. And then, so this is a home game for the Jets, but you travel across the pond to London, and you're hosting the Atlanta Falcons. Win or lose?
So fun little fact. Kyle Pitts was my favorite player in the draft this past year that wasn't a quarterback.
Okay.
That dude is dynamic, explosive, versatile. He's everything. He is absolutely everything. And if you guys who are listening to this and watching this, if you haven't watched any Kyle Pitts, go ahead and put on a little YouTube highlight reel and just sit back and watch. This guy can line up everywhere. Wide receiver, outside, in the slot, at the tight end position. He is a freak. Anyway, not to get sidetracked. I actually am going to give us the win. I was a little worried going into the season, knowing that they had to contend with Julio, Calvin Ridley, and Kyle Pitts. I think it gets a little bit easier now with Julio being gone. I think that they can kind of, bracket Kyle Pitts on the inside a little bit, contain him somewhat, maybe. They do have Marcus May, who I think they might stick, they might put him on Kyle Pitts in that game. And then Calvin Ridley, very, very good player. I don't know if we'll be able to slow him down too much, but I do believe we'll get after Matt Ryan quite a bit. And I think defensively, they're not as good, as some of the other teams that we'll face. So I'm giving us a win. 3-2, baby.
3-2. Okay. You're, 3-2 headed into the very early bye week. I think that's the earliest bye week that a lot of teams have, but it makes sense to give you the bye week after the London game. Mm-hmm. And then you travel to New England to take on the Patriots for the second time very early in the season in week 7. Win or lose?
So I had us losing at home, and a lot of people have been giving me grief. I actually think that this is kind of like one of those moments in the season where they will win this football game. And I think that they will split with New England. I do have us losing, not to spoil it or anything, but I do have us losing more games in the division than winning.
Okay.
So this is one of my, upsets, a big road win for the Jets and kind of like a staple for Robert Saleh to kind of put himself on the map.
For sure. Okay. I love it. Oh, anytime.
Don't worry. The losses are coming, everybody. Don't worry.
No judge. Remember this, I don't judge anyone for their prediction on this. If there's ever a time to be optimistic for your team, it's right now at this in the off season, right?
Exactly. Yep.
That's, no one's been injured. So then you travel back home and you host the Cincinnati Bengals on Halloween. Win or lose?
I'm going to go with a loss here. I do think we're going to be able to get after Joe Burrow quite a bit. I don't know if they address the offensive line enough like they should have. I think they should have drafted Penei Sewell. Mm-hmm. Having said that, though, they are very, very deep and explosive at the wide receiver position, and that's one of our weaknesses right now. As I kind of alluded to, we're super young, a bunch of rookies at the cornerback spot. They've got Jamar Chase, one of my favorite players in the draft this past year. T. Higgins, former Clemson Tiger, very, very good wide receiver. And they also have another dude, and his name is slipping my mind. Very good. Oh, Tyler Boyd. Yeah. Tyler Boyd's a very solid wide receiver as well. So that matchup's not very good. If we get extra pressure on Burrow, we can win that football game. I don't know if it's like out of the realm of possibility, but I'll give them the edge and I'll give them a win. I like Burrow a lot.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. So you're 4-3, and then you have a short week, and you are traveling to Indianapolis to take on the Colts in primetime. Looks like the only primetime game on the year for the Jets.
Yes, and that is true. I will give this the loss there. It's a road game. It's a short week, like you mentioned. They have a very, very good defense. They have some really nice players on defense in Indianapolis. And so it's hard to predict and hard to project what Carson Wentz is going to be, but he's back with Frank Reich, who he had a lot of success with, his MVP caliber season that he had. If Carson Wentz can get healthy, they are a very, very formidable football team because they do still have some weapons. They have a very good offensive line. So I'm going to give them the win. They're just probably right now a better overall football team than the Jets.
I will say this is, my 19th team that I'm doing this, and every team that has to play the Colts says something along the lines of like, I don't really know what to think of this team, just because there's so many question marks there. So
a lot of it depends on Wentz's health. Mm-hmm. And I think if he's healthy, though, I think he's gonna do quite well in Indianapolis, but he's just been very banged up, as we all know. So
yeah, for sure. And he hasn't been throwing anyone.
That's true too. That's fair.
But we're talking about the Jets here.
Yeah, who cares about them?
Yeah, who cares about them? Then you're back home and you welcome in the Buffalo Bills. Win or lose, division round.
It's a loss. The Buffalo Bills are the superior team in the AFC East. They proved it last year, and it's not. Some people might say it's, kind of obvious. But I think that when you look at how they've built that football team and how they've supported Josh Allen, I think Josh Allen might be one of the most surprising quarterback developments that I've seen over my entire fandom. Yeah. Coming out of college, the analytics suggested that he was never going to be a good quarterback. And then when he played his first 2 seasons in the NFL, it was also kind of like the analytics don't look so good. Yeah. And then we all know he exploded last year, just absolutely went off. So I give a big tip of the cap to any, or I give a good tip of the cap to the Buffalo Bills and then to their fans as well. I mean, they just did a phenomenal job of coaching and supporting Josh Allen. Wish the Jets had done something with Darnold, kind of like that, because again, Darnold wasn't lighting the world on fire his first 2 seasons, but you saw the patience, the coaching, the development with Josh Allen. Anyway, long story short, they're gonna probably kick our butts a little bit. So.
Okay, no, that's fair. That's fair. And then you host your next division rival, the Miami Dolphins. Win or lose?
I'm gonna give us a win versus them.
Okay.
We will split with them as well, I believe. They are a very solid football team as well. They do have some questions at quarterback. A lot of people are wondering if Tua is going to take a step forward. I'm not sure. They added the wide receiver Jalen Waddle from Alabama, who's extremely explosive. I will say that his production every single season at Alabama decreased over his college career. It went down every year. So some of that's to injury, some of that's because of the pandemic. It's just something that I saw when I was researching about the player leading up to the draft. So they also have question marks on the offensive line. They had drafted Austin Jackson out of USC kind of earlier than people expected him to go. And he didn't really do all that well last year as a rookie. So it's going to be interesting to see if Tua can do what he needs to do, but also the offensive line, can they protect him? So
okay. All right. So, well, the Jets are 5-5 at this point, a significant upgrade
I'll sign on that dotted line right now. 5-5. That would be great.
And then this next game, I have kind of this tradition on this show now that whenever this team is here, if you are a Houston Texans fan watching this, please comment below, because for the life of me, I cannot find a Houston Texans fan willing to come on this show. So I would love to talk football with you. So you're going to Houston to take on one of the most awkward teams in pro sports right now. You are taking on the Houston Texans. Win or lose?
I'm giving us a win. I think everybody's going to give themselves a win versus the Texans. You said it best, awkward. It's not just the Deshaun Watson situation, which is obviously awkward and potentially bad. But their coach was very awkward in the interviews that he's done. It's very, very weird to listen to him talk. Do you want to throw a comment on that?
No, just David Culley. I just I did a video about the coaches most likely to get fired this year, and I think I'm like one and done candidate for the Texans.
Do you remember Jim Tomsula of the 49ers?
Yeah.
He was a one and done guy. And when he got hired, it was kind of like, ooh, I don't know if this guy's going to make it into the second year. And that's kind of how I feel as well with Culley.
Yeah. There's just some big question marks there.
I won't beat up on him. I think the problem is they've essentially they've eliminated all of the players that they've been known for. JJ Watt, DeAndre Hopkins, Deshaun Watson is in, limbo right now. So they're not the same team that they've been.
That's true. Yep. Well, we don't want to hate on the Texans. And again, if you are that Texans fan, please comment below. Then you are back home and you welcome in the Philadelphia Eagles. Win or lose?
The Jets, fun fact, if you don't know this, Peo, the Jets have never won versus the Eagles in the regular season in their franchise history. That is a real fact. If you want to double check that one, go ahead and do it.
I'll take your word for it. That is fascinating. Wow.
The New York Jets have never defeated the Philadelphia Eagles in the regular season. Obviously not in the Super Bowl because they've never matched up. So yeah, never have they beaten the Philadelphia Eagles in the regular season. And golly, I'm giving them the win. I can't sit here and say they're going to lose because they've just done nothing but lose to the Eagles. Time to buck the trend. I think Robert Saleh is going to say, you know what, guys, let's circle this game right here. Let's make sure we win this one. So
I like it. Okay, wow, that is so fascinating. But so after that win, the Jets are 7-5 on the year. Media's blowing up. They're still in the conversation for a wild card race, and then you welcome the New Orleans Saints to New Jersey. Win or lose?
So it's going to be a win for me. We're going to be 8-5 and we are going to beat the New Orleans Saints. Is it in New York?
It is.
Okay. Yeah. So they typically don't do all that well later in the season. Is this December? Do you have the dates
Yep,
specifically?
December 12th.
Yeah. So look at their, their history, and they don't typically travel well in late games in the season. The question mark, Jameis Winston, is he going to get, resurrect his career? I think he's got a good shot to. He's got the weapons. He's got Sean Payton. He's had some time now to kind of rebuild his confidence. So that's a question mark. Excuse me. And then they just have some question marks as well. They lost their pass rusher. His name is eluding me. Trey Hendrickson.
Mm-hmm.
They just let him go. He went to Cincinnati. So they're missing one of their edge rushers. They still have Cameron Jordan, who's a very, very good pass rusher. So they don't have the same pass rush production, though, because Hendrickson did have like 12 plus sacks last year. And then they also have the cornerback question. He got into some trouble with the law. And so I don't know, I'm not sure if he's even going to face penalty for that or, suspensions. But it's just something that's worth noting.
Yep.
I think we beat them. I think we're going to be able to run the football a little bit on them. They also lost Sheldon Rankins. That's another name, defensive tackle. He is a New York Jet, actually. So they're going to be a little bit softer on the line. And I wonder about Jameis Winston. He is a bit of a turnover machine prior to, getting, cut or whatever it was, traded by from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So turnovers could be an issue. December could be an issue for the team. We'll just have to wait and see. But I'm going to give them the win. I think it's the last win that I have for them on their schedule.
Well,
so.
hey, don't spoil it. We still got some.
We'll
time.
see.
Yeah,
Yep.
We'll see. But okay, hey, Jets fans will be freaking out going 8-5 to start the year, and then you're traveling to Miami to take on the Dolphins for the second time of the year. Yeah,
it's gonna be a loss. We will split with Miami. They are an up-and-coming team. They're a good, solid football team. They may end up winning more football games than the Jets. I think that's going to be a very interesting battle, is New England, New York, and Miami. Who's going to be the number 2 team in the AFC East? Because right now I have the Bills running away with it. So it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, no, for sure. And just noticing that you are, completing the Florida team trifecta coming up here. But now the Florida teams are coming to you. You are hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars a day after Christmas, win or lose.
I want to give us the win really bad. And you know what? I think I will. I will let you know, Peo. I did have us 8-9 in my season predictions video. It was a couple of weeks ago. So I'm giving us the one extra win. It's a little bit more than I think. I think 7 to 9 wins is the range for them right now. Maybe even 6 if something bad happens, injuries or something like that. I'll give them the win though. I think that Jacksonville and the Jets are very similar and that they have talent kind of all over the place. Jacksonville's offensive line's pretty good. That's going to be a really, really fun football game to watch. And I think that could be flexed into prime time.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's, in the blocks where they will flex. I don't know if that's in that week.
It has a little asterisk next to it on that schedule that it is possible that it's flexed.
Yep. So that could be flexed by that point in the season if one or both of those teams are just like competing and they're kind of the middle of the pack. That's going to be a fun game though, regardless, just to see the number 1 and number 2 quarterback go at it.
Of course.
I'll give the Jets the win though, because I'm a homer. Can't help it.
That's what I like. Okay. All right. So you're 9-6, and then you welcome in the defending Super Bowl champions, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, win or lose.
Yeah, it's going to be a loss. I think that the common thing that Jets fans are talking about is that maybe the Buccaneers and the Buffalo Bills won't have anything to play for, but I'm not going to sit here and project that kind of thing. Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous to do that. They may be competing for the number 1 seed by that point in the season. So it's a win. They returned every single starter from last Super Bowl season.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to win.
No, that's legit. That's legit. And then your final game of the year, division rival. You have to travel to Buffalo to take on the Bills, win or lose.
It's a loss. But I will say that of the two games where a team they might be resting, this game is much more likely that the Bills will rest. I don't think that they're going to be within a game of anybody else in the AFC to overtake somebody. I think the Chiefs will probably have things wrapped up. And then the number 2 seed's not as important as it once was. There's no bye involved with the number 2 seed. So if it were me guessing, if it were me to guess right now, I would say that the Chiefs probably have their number 1 seed locked up. The Bills will say, you know what, we don't have a bye. Let's make this our bye.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're not going to project that.
Yep.
I'm giving the Jets the loss. The Bills are the better team. I'm giving the Bills the 2 wins versus the New York Jets.
Okay. But, you may be finished off with a couple of losses there, but going from a 2-win team to what you're projecting as 9-8 team, that I think Jets fans would rejoice over that.
Very much so. And they would rejoice over an 8-9 season. They would rejoice even over a 7-10 season too. As long as they're showing, signs of development and growth. I think that's what Jets fans are looking for. Again, I had them at 8-9 in my prediction video a couple weeks back. Mm-hmm. I think 8 to 9 wins is where I'm hoping to see them go. I don't think that they're going to go any beyond that, though. I don't think they're not quite ready for a 10-win season, 11-win season for sure. They're just too doggone young. So.
Okay, well, we turn it over to you, the viewers. Thank you so much for watching, and let us know in the comments below. Do you agree with this prediction? Do you think that's realistic, too optimistic, or maybe you think the Jets are going to go 17-0? Let us know. And make sure that you go on over to John's channel at NYJ Today. He's got fantastic New York Jets content there. And John, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate you having me on, and thanks for inviting me to do this. This was a lot of fun.
For sure. Hail Time and NYJ Today. Peace and out.